compulsion that goes with the intellectual activity of whatever problem you are working on. And I would propose to you that it's no different with the synagogue. The synagogue really is an extension of the home. And when volunteers are working on behalf of the synagogue, there often can be an underlying sense of emotion. And it really takes a very special individual to kind of navigate that. And it needs to be somebody who inherently has a very calming nature, and yet at the same time is very intellectual and has the ability to get to the root of the issue and navigate the group to the appropriate endpoint. Ralph Maimon is just that kind of individual, and it has been an honor and a pleasure for me to work with Ralph. So Ralph, please.
I told Ralph I want to go first. I do care. I do care.
Okay.
Doesn't care that much gets to.
Sorry, I'm struggling with this thing. It's
I
very
don't want to be after.
My best friend, Alan Dean, I'm not only honored to have been asked to make this presentation to you, but frankly, I would have begged for the opportunity to do it.
Closer to the mic, yeah.
Okay, I'll start over. Alan Dean, I'm not only honored to have been asked to make this presentation to you, but I would have begged for the opportunity to tell you publicly how much you mean to our community. Tonight is not the culmination of your service, but just another landmark of recognition. I never fully understood the phrase "tiskul mitzvot" until I thought about the two of you in that context. Instead of saying, here's a reward for doing a mitzvah, we say you should merit more mitzvot. But the two of you live that blessing, and we are the beneficiaries. The more mitzvot you do, the more you are blessed with the opportunities to do even more of them. Even in your retirement years, you continue to commit yourselves to your family, to our kahal, our greater Seattle Jewish community, and to Kiddush Hashem. Though your mitzvah activity level is at max output, you show the community that it can be done more carefully and with commitment to our ideals, raising and successfully inspiring, by example, your three children, Ben-Sion, Leah, and Menachem, their spouses, Ilana, John, and Judy, and their children, with warmth, closeness, and commitment to our Sephardic heritage. In that respect, you're not just an example for the rest of us, but a beacon. Your direct involvement in our community are so numerous, I can only mention a few. Jean, you have been and continue to be a leader and also a person who often works behind the scenes, quietly and with dignity, taking on those jobs that are less publicly noticed but absolutely necessary. You actively find needs that have to be fulfilled and do them with grace and mostly without recognition or your deserved acclaim. You've always been active as president of our own Ladies Auxiliary, a board member of the Refuah Fund, a member of the Hevra Kadisha, president of Amit Devorah chapter, treasurer of the Seattle Hebrew Academy, and you do so many things privately and without fanfare to find those in need and give help in any way that you can. Albert, there aren't many organizations where you haven't risen to the office of president, chairman, executive director, including our own Sephardic Bikur Holim, the Seattle Hebrew Academy, the Samis Foundation, Vad HaRabbanim of Greater Seattle, the Seattle Kollel, and he's been a vice president of the Jewish Federation of Greater Seattle and chair of some of its most important committees and programs. The prestigious program manager, and he's also been the prestigious program manager of the National General Assembly of Jewish Federations. Al continues to be totally dedicated to and maintaining, where needed, and even resurrecting our Sephardic traditions, heritage, treasures, and Ladino language through his work, as Devin Nahr will attest, with the University of Washington's Jewish Studies program, and specifically with its Sephardic Studies program. He also does it here in our Kahal. Just yesterday, we took a class to a packed house on the Perashah of the week from a text that was written wholly in Ladino. And also with his personal emails to hundreds of interested recipients, recapping where we are in this cherished but critical endeavor, and giving us resources to learn more about it and even to advance it. Because of Al's work in this field, the Spanish and Portuguese language department at the University of Washington bestowed and honored him with the Service Award earlier this year. So here goes my attempt to praise Albert and Jean in Ladino. Queridos Albert and Jean, or Jean, I don't know. Nos tenemos un hombre y una mujer en nuestra comunidad y Keilah, que yo no puedo pensar cómo buscamos nosotros aquí sin ustedes. Tus llevan tan honor a nuestra comunidad sefardí, hacen tan bienes para la comunidad el largo y hacen tan Kiddush Hashem. Okay, Jean, I want you to be able to receive your kudos in Yiddish. So here it goes. Now, I spent a lot of time on the internet today, last night, trying to find the appropriate sayings. Now, I admit that I took some for myself also, so they may have gotten a little mixed up. All right, the first one, Ageshvir, pardon the pronunciation. Ageshvir is a gute Zach be Yenem unter Oram. Oh, wait, that was one of mine. That was the wrong one. That means a boil is fine as long as it's under someone else's arm. Here's a better one. Okay, wait. You'll like this. Noch der Chuppah is spät die Harote. Oh, no. That means after the wedding, it's too late to have regrets. Yeah, right. All right, final time. I think this one's the right one. Es it near as I tear the Gehang wie der Gedank. A Größen Shemen Dank dir Eich. Translation, and this really applies to Jean. The gift is not as precious as the thought. Thank you so very much. And to both of you, Zeus Leben und sein Gesund. I really can't express all of these thoughts better than what was written, not those last ones. All these thoughts better than what was written in a letter that I've been asked to read from Ben Sion, Alan Jean's oldest son, who now lives in Ra'anana, Israel. So I'd like to read that letter. It's really beautifully written. Hi, Ima and Abba. This greeting comes to you from Israel with regret that we're not able to join you this evening. We know how well-deserved and meaningful this honor is for you. The work that you do on behalf of Kahal and the broader community is an exemplary example of serving Hashem ve'ahava with love. The values that you exhibit in those roles are consistent with those that Leah, Menachem, and I saw growing up. You are a source of pride to your children and grandchildren as we see and hear the way that you are respected and cherished by others. When I think of you, my parents, and Kahal, I feel like I am looking at mirror images, as your values of Torah, Keilah, Minhagim, and Midot are the core values of the community that helped shape you. You have served as a bridge from the first generation in Seattle to subsequent generations, conveying an ideal synthesis of these values for living a robust and meaningful Sephardic Jewish life, which is our legacy. Some of my earliest memories relate to each of your varied leadership roles in Kahal. Abba, one of my earliest memories is probably in the late 60s, visiting SBH camp. I believe it was on Bainbridge Island. I recall specific comments that made it clear, even to a 4-year-old, that you were cherished and respected. This is not surprising, as you were a prominent youth advisor and camp staff member from earlier years. As I understand it, a key contributor to the Sephardic Bikur Holim youth song, which, by the way, is probably why it's one of my favorite Yigdal tunes to this day. Iman, you were also a major force at camp. As I recall, they had a special term of endearment for you for the vigilance with which you protected the kitchen and its contents, especially the cookies. He doesn't say what the term was.
I know. No demands.
No demands. Of course. You say that in Yiddish. Of course, your prominent leadership roles as president of Kahal and the Women's Auxiliary, working tirelessly on the bazaar and other Kahal events, hosting veladas, and at least equally important are the behind-the-scene roles of consensus builders and mentors, for which I am most proud. Abba, you have also distinguished yourself as a teacher of Torah. You put much emphasis on understanding the particulars and nuances of halakha and hashkafa theology in what we do, and you are very pleased to share with others. You will often approach others with a Torah text to share an interesting point that you have read. This can also be seen in your enthusiastic participation in the vibrant Kaf HaChaim class as teacher of your Me'am Loes classes, where participants used Hebrew, English, and Ladino texts, each to their level, as a contributing editor of the holiday Machzorim. For nearly as long as I can remember, Abba, you have blown shofar at Kahal. Your attention to the beauty of the sound of the shofar is matched by your concern that each kol be an appropriate length to ensure that each member of the congregation will fulfill his obligation. Whenever I blow shofar, I'm carried back over 30 years to when you first taught me to blow, with special care to monitor the length of my kolot. In short, Ima and Abba, Ilana, Abe, Sammy, Joseph, Elisa, and I, and Leah and Menachem and their families have been blessed to benefit from all your hard work. You teach by example how to be Yireh Shamayim, good parents, and dedicated community leaders. We have in your Zehut and will continue to emulate your commitment to family and community every day. May you continue to lead your family, Kahal, and broader community with love and passion for many years to come. We're proud to have you as our parents and grandparents. If you have a glass in front of you, I'd like you to raise your glasses to Al and Jean. And if he were here, I know exactly what Al's dad, my Uncle Ben Sion, would say, Alav Hashalom, right now, as do many of the attendees here. So let's hear it from everybody. If that's the case,
That's the case.
all right. Al and Jean, please come up for a presentation for all of your years of service in past and for the years to come. We also have a paper cut for Al and Jean. I'd like to read what Nicole wrote, who does this incredibly beautiful work. Sit down. SBH Community Achievement Award, October 27th, 2013. The original paper cut was designed to honor Jeannie and Al Maimon for their dedication to Sephardic Bikur Holim congregation. Al and Jeannie exemplified the statement of the Mishnah, Al Shlosha Devarim Ha'olam Omed, Al HaTorah, Al HaAvodah, Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim. The world rests upon three things, upon Torah, upon worship, and upon loving kindness in Avot. The Maimons are committed, but this is an inside joke, are committed to making all three priorities in their own lives and for the entire community. At the center of this design is a stylized clock to represent the time that the Maimons devote to the synagogue and the Jewish community in general. The 12 lines on the clock can also serve as a symbol of the people of Israel, one for each tribe of Israel. Working on behalf of the Jewish people is an ongoing commitment for the Maimons. There are 7 clocks repeated throughout the design as a symbol of the Kedushah, sacredness of our time. May Jeannie and Al's dedication and generosity with their time serve as a model for our whole community. Mazal tov.